Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Ann at Martin House Flowers. Hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. I got to spend my weekend the way I always want to, which is planting in my garden. But in our case, it was time to tackle those 2 pallets of mulch, and I had Greg's somewhat undivided attention. Anyway, he was able to help me out this past weekend. We worked both Saturday and Sunday on edging and mulching the garden. And I decided to tackle my what I call death row right now. This row, my long rose bed, I fondly call it death row, since I have officially lost 9 roses along this long rose bed. So, as I mentioned in a previous video, I had received 2 roses from Heirloom Roses, which I ordered back in January during their New Year's sale. So I was mapping out the fact that I was going to plant 2 roses on this row, and I would have, for now, 4 roses. Basically, between every 2 cat's pajama nepeta, there would be a rose. Basically, only 2 rose shrubs survived in this row, not including New Dawn, the climbing rose. So there's 1 Arctic blue and a white rose that survived underneath that cloche. The first rose I planted is Sweet Mademoiselle. I heard about this rose through the YouTuber at Summer Moon Garden. I think this was in her top 10, if not her number 1 rose. Anyway, I fell in love with those beautiful layered coral petals. Sweet Mademoiselle is known for her intense fragrance, and she makes a beautiful cutting rose. She performs very well in the heat. This YouTuber is in the south, and we get very intense, hot, humid summers, and it's also known to be very vigorous. So I'm really hopeful that this rose will survive. And of course, Heirloom Roses has a wonderful warranty, and later I'll explain how I was able to get a warranty on 3 roses that didn't survive from last summer. So this second rose that I planted is Princess Charlene de Monaco. This rose is known for its beautiful ruffled petals. She has over 100 ruffled petals, and her color ranges from apricot to light pink. And her fragrance is so sweet as a perfume. She's incredibly disease resistant, makes a beautiful cut flower, and handles the heat and rain very well. Since this long rose bed is made up of complete compost, I didn't need to amend the soil other than to add some biotone root starter. And I will follow Heirloom Roses instructions, as I always do with their first year roses. I use their fish fertilizer, which I have on order. So in a few weeks, I will be using the fish fertilizer once it gets established. While I was planting my new roses, Greg got busy in the backyard digging out our dead redbud tree. And here we are looking at the roots. We were really trying to troubleshoot what could have happened. It didn't get overwatered since my hose link reaches to this back corner, but I rarely, maybe once a week, water it. And it definitely in its second year, I was not watering it regularly. But I don't believe it was a watering issue. I think it was just a fungal disease that just got to the tree and inevitably killed it. The other thing is that this northwest corner is a basically tunnel of wind for us. We get the prevailing south winds and the eastward winds to the west. So that was another reason why we decided to pick an evergreen. And it was also a good idea to change it up from a deciduous to an evergreen because of these winds. And we were advised that there wouldn't be any issues of what could have transferred from the redbud to an evergreen. So before putting in the beautiful replacement Hinoki False Cypress, I put in a bunch of biotone and just worked it into the native soil. The trees that were here previously were planted by Wasco Nursery, so we could tell that it was planted nice and deep, and we did put it in the original hole. But as mentioned, we're not worried about any transference of any disease because we are moving from a deciduous to an evergreen. And the thing about a Hinoki False Cypress is we were warned that it can be a little bit touchy with regard to moisture. It doesn't want to sit in wet soil. It can quickly rot if it is overwatered. So I did talk to the owner of Wasco when I was purchasing the tree, and we do need to keep it on a schedule of just once a week with a low trickle. So I'm going to follow those instructions. I am desperate to have this third tree survive in this corner, and I am so in love with this beautiful architectural slender false cypress tree. Just as the sun was almost setting, Greg managed to plant up the Hinoki False Cypress. So here it is. This is the next day. I'm just admiring our new evergreen. It looks so pretty in this corner. It's spaced about 4 feet away from each of these shrubs, so I think the location is perfect. And sadly, it was dark when Greg managed to plant up our beautiful Ninebark. And I wanted to take a look during the daytime how we positioned it. We did look at it from different angles. We've always said that there was a bit of a gap between these two evergreens, the Fat Albert and the Weeping Cypress, so I'm really happy with that location. And soon we'll be able to join the beds of the trees, create beds between all the evergreens. So after a weekend of mulching and planting, I did manage to send an email to Heirloom Roses about the 3 roses that didn't survive that were just purchased last year. Heirloom Roses has a 1-year warranty, and I went onto their website, sent an email, and on Monday morning I actually called because they were having a Mother's Day special that I wanted to take advantage of with the credit that I was potentially going to receive. So thankfully, they gave me a very nice credit, and I was able to purchase 4 new roses. When choosing my new roses, I decided to try and select roses that were hardy in zones lower than my zone 5B. So I did pick a few zone 4, and I did also choose one David Austin Roald Dahl. So I will go over details of each rose in another video when they arrive and when I plant them, so that we don't make this video too long. But I did select a couple of roses that could work in a container, and I might in fact try 2 roses in a container. I do have 2 large containers that sit in the driveway, and I can bring them indoors. I can just slide them indoors in my unheated garage over the winter. So that is a potential location for a couple of the 4 roses. Here's one of the large containers that I mentioned. It sits at the corner of our garage and our peony bed. So let me know in the comments below if you've ever planted a rose in a container. I'd love to hear about whether or not it worked for you.